Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. I'm pleased to say that my voice is a little bit better today. I'm not so bunged up with the cold. Today we're going to ask a very important question. What is blonde chocolate, and how does it differ from white chocolate? Well, for those of you who love your chocolates, and I know I do, this question is very, very important. Blonde chocolate, as it's called, is all the rage here. All the rage simply means very popular. Oh, it's all the rage, it's everywhere. Blonde chocolate. You do know that British people love their sweets, and we are known for being a little bit unhealthy. That's why some of us are a little bit overweight. We love chocolate. Apparently, blonde chocolate is a toasted or roasted version of white chocolate, and it has some caramel added as well. I can't really describe the taste except that it's very, very sweet, which you would expect, but it tastes more like toast, if that makes any sense. So if you imagine a combination of toasted bread and white chocolate, you probably would get a good idea of the texture and the general feel for blonde chocolate. It might look like a whole new variety because it's sold to us, of course, in a very expensive wrapper, as something new, but it actually starts out as white chocolate. It's heated and stirred until it becomes like caramel. You know the way sugar does when it burns, it caramelizes. Which gives it a lovely golden colour and makes it a bit more toasty. Apparently, blonde chocolate was discovered by accident in 2006 by a chocolate maker. Years later, that company began selling blonde chocolates, which became very popular with pastry chefs. It's a bit strange that it's so popular here because it's a little bit expensive. So it's been all the rage for the last few years, and if you go onto social media, you'll find lots of recipes telling you how to make blonde chocolates. Many companies have been releasing their own versions of the recipes. I think one of the most popular ones probably has been a company called Hershey's. They're not very big in the UK. I think we usually have it on import. I don't know where it comes from. You don't need any special equipment if you want to try to make blonde chocolate. You just need some white chocolate, and you probably could make it from those cooking blocks of chocolate that you can buy as well. It can be eaten right away, and it doesn't look so appetizing when you make it yourself. Buying it is kind of special. So, as well as blonde beer, you can now find blonde chocolate. If you're looking for a cheaper version of blonde chocolate, there is, and there has always been, a chocolate bar in the UK called Caramac. Caramac. Caramac is a kind of really sweet chocolate bar. It's not chunky, it's very thin, but it would have the same kind of taste, but it wouldn't have a crunchy texture. Caramac is generally very smooth, like a softer version of toffee, if that makes any sense. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. By the way, if you're around London this weekend, the Flying Scotsman, and I don't mean me, will be arriving at King's Cross railway station on platform 8. And that's always something wonderful to go and see. If you're wondering what the Flying Scotsman is, you should Google it. It's a locomotive steam train which has been in operation since the late 1800s. It makes special appearances for different reasons. It's a very slow train, of course, because it doesn't run in the usual way as other modern trains do, but it gives you a glimpse into our past. These days it usually sits in a railway museum, but on certain days they bring it out and they run it. And if you have a few pounds to spare, you can take a ticket and travel on it. It's one of those things you would buy as a gift for someone, but you wouldn't come across it trying to get from Glasgow to London, for example, although that was its original route, I think, all across the country. I don't know when they stopped using it. I think it must have been in the 1970s. And certainly after electrification in the 80s, we almost certainly wouldn't have used it after that because it's no longer eco-friendly. So they bring it out now and again just to run it up and down the country. If you are in London, you can go to see it. Of course, they charge you for that. A lot of money to access it on Platform 8 at King's Cross Railway Station. I think it's there for 2 days, but as I say, great idea and opportunity for photographers or for train anoraks. An anorak, by the way, literally is a type of jacket that people wear, but an anorak is always used, often used to describe someone who is extremely interested in a particular thing. So, for example, joking with my friends, I could say, oh, I'm a bit of a radio anorak. It means that I love radio and I'm quite obsessed with it. Train spotters in the UK are often laughed at, and we call them anoraks because they stand at the end of railway platforms and write down numbers and take pictures, and they're very happy to see trains when the rest of us just really want to get on them and get to work, or to get home. So an anorak is someone who is obsessed. So if you are a train anorak, feel free to correct me with any of the information about the Flying Scotsman that I've mentioned there. Speaking of anoraks, I love radio. Yeah, I'm a real anorak when it comes to radio. By the way, why is this type of jacket used to talk about people who are obsessed? I think it's because originally the word anorak was used to describe train spotters as well as plane spotters. That's another bunch that can stand outside the airport for hours waiting for a jumbo jet to land, and then they get really excited. Well, anyway, those are plane spotters, train spotters. They would be called anoraks because they would wear anoraks because it would be raining on some days, most days, when they go outside. So from there, the term spread into anyone who's obsessed with anything. I really don't understand why they have to go outside. I mean, these days, if you're a train spotter or a plane spotter, can you not just do it digitally? I mean, there's an app where you know which plane is above you, passing over. Wouldn't that be enough? Really? Likewise, with train spotting, I'm sure you could just look up the arrivals board at the local train station. Having said that, though, it wouldn't tell you the serial number of the train, I suppose. But, well, we all have our little things, I suppose. Right, that's it from me for today. So enjoy blonde chocolate if you're looking for it. And I'll catch up with you all again soon. See you. Bye.